No, let me start by saying that we are vehemently opposed to the content of this presentation. We don't agree with it. There's no point that we agree with. So, in its totality, uh, doesn't make sense to us in its totality. One, it doesn't make sense in terms of the legal framework, but secondly, in terms of a problem that we're currently faced with here in this committee, because our firm view is that one, the minister does not have powers in terms of the current constitution and in terms of the South African Police Service Act to enter into operational issues. And if he does so, he is violating the constitution. The South African Police Service Act operationalizes Section 207 of the Constitution, and it does not give powers, consciously so, to the minister to enter into operational affairs. Section 11 of the Policy Service Act gives powers to the National Commissioner. And I think the reason behind this is that in most instances, in fact, in all instances, people who are appointed as national commissioners are people who are career policemen, people who have experience in the police. They were constables, detectives, brigadiers, and so on and so forth. That is why they are given powers, because a police institution is not an institution that you can gamble with. It's a very critical institution in governance. And to have a person who's the national commissioner, you require skills and expertise. And the minister is a politician, and there's no requirement for you to be a minister of police. If I love Honorable Skosana and I'm the president, and if I want him to protect me for my future shenanigans, I can simply appoint him because I know that he's my puppet. He will take all instructions that I'm giving to him. Whereas a commissioner is a well qualified person in terms of experience who understands better how to run an institution or a department called SAPS. So I think there is no issue here with the current legal framework. There's absolutely no issue. And if anything, the current legal framework was violated on the 30th of December 2024, when we were busy at home celebrating New Year. So to suggest that more powers must be given to the minister and the minister must be protected and so on and so forth is to want to exacerbate the situation. That is my comment. We don't agree with what you have said, and we think that your proposition can exacerbate the current quagmires that we are faced with. Number two, you have also spoken about a tendency to establish task teams. And my reading of your tone is that you seem to be against that. My understanding, my simple understanding, I've never been a police, but with the little experience that I have with regards to the running of the affairs in the police, is that a task team is appointed for a specific purpose and to address a particular problem. And that has worked because a unit is a unit that is established to deal with general issues of crime. And then when there is a specific problem which is rife, or when there's a specific scourge which is growing uninterrupted, and the police can't, in their current form, address that issue, there is a need to establish a task team. And practically, that has worked for the people of South Africa. It has worked in KZN. Before I'm speaking now as a citizen of KZN. Before 2018, there was no task team in KZN, and people were dying like flies. And evidence is tendered here that there was a collaboration of criminals and people who are in the police. Because what criminals do, they identify role players in the current setup of the police and want to capture them and use them for their criminal activities. And when there's a task team, it's not easy to do that because various people are deployed in terms of their expertise and experience to deal with a particular problem. So, in terms of the practical records, task teams have worked for the people of South Africa. That is why today there's peace in KZN. People are not dying. We're going to elections this year. If you know KZN very well, by now many people would have died if that task team was not established. So to suggest that a task team or to label it as a tendency to establish a task team, I think, is a bit inconsistent and undesirable. It's peculiar. We don't agree with that because a permanent unit continues to focus in its competency, whereas a task team is established for a specific purpose. And when they have completely arrested that problem, then they get established. Now, another point that I wanted to raise is that I don't think there is a problem with the minister giving a direction, but there are requirements that must be met with that. One, a directive can only be given in terms of what is legally permissible. Two, a directive can be given through a comprehensive consultation with relevant people who have powers to make a determination in that directive. You can't, because you have powers, it's not an open-ended right or prerogative or discretion that you have as a minister. Because one day, if I have an open-ended right, I would wake up and say, Shongwe, you can pee here. And then I claim that I have a responsibility or a right, rather, a constitutional right to give a directive. Now, a directive can be implemented in terms of the legislation, and the legislation gives powers to the minister, to the national commissioner, not to the minister. So the minister doesn't have powers to intervene on operational issues. There is nowhere, there is no law that gives a minister powers currently. Maybe they are yet to be made, but currently in the legislation and in the Constitution only says, Section 207, subsection 2 says, the commissioner has a responsibility to control and manage services in the police service in consultation or in accordance with the directives of the minister. But it doesn't end there. It goes also to the act which gives, and the act gives only the national commissioner powers, section 11, only the national commissioner powers to deal with operational issues. And the Act drills it down because it explains specifically and it specifies roles of the national commissioner to say he can do A, B, C, D, and 3. So there is a difference between issuing a directive and actioning something. A directive, in my understanding, if I can give a practical example, can be given in this way. If I have a right to issue a directive and Skosana has a right to manage this house, I can give a directive to Skosana to say, by 6 o'clock, I think, or firstly, I would consult with Skosana because he knows the house better than I, because he manages it on a daily basis, and ask him if it is appropriate for him to change that door. And if he says, as a person who has experience and as a person who manages this house, I think it is appropriate to change that door. And then I can say, you can, having made all such considerations, you can change the door. And not come with a date to Skosana. That is dictatorship from a general perspective. It's dictatorship and it's ultra virus. I can't come to Skosana and say, Skosana, tomorrow at 10 o'clock, who manages this house? At 10 o'clock, that door must have been changed. What kind of a directive is that? That's dictatorship. I can't give that instruction to a person who has statutory responsibilities which have been explained thorough in a legislation, and just give an instruction to say do A, B, C, and D, whereas I am not in charge of day-to-day responsibilities of doing what he does. So I don't have any question on your presentation. I'm crushing it from point 1 to the last point. We don't agree with it. It doesn't make sense to us. It appears to be more defensive than anything. It appears as a mouthpiece of Senzo Mchunu. That is, it has been presented to paint a particular picture or to establish a particular defense. So there's no question. I was just engaging. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the comments and taken note of the points that you've made. I think just my responsibility would be just to obviously reply to the last, was it a dig or a jibe or what? I'm not quite sure what you would call it, but that the submission was made in some ways in a way which was intended to favor one person or another person. And, I can state very clearly and without any hesitation that, that's just entirely not true. And the work forms part of work which is intended to support Parliament and support the government of South Africa in building an effective and sustainable democratic system, and that and that is the spirit and the motivation behind it. But thank you.
I'm not sure whether I should be a chair myself now. I think I'll chair this meeting.